and it's showing recording in the upper left-hand corner. So here we are at our impromptu, absolutely fabulous Jihan Thomas business chat. And what we're going to talk about today, Jihan and I were connecting this morning, and she always inspires me. So we're going to be talking about tapping into your vision. But I want you to, if you guys have, I saw you were sniffing oils. Christina, right?
Yes, Christina, yep.
Christina, I'm grabbing some inspiration. I want you to grab an oil that's close to you, the one that speaks to you, and just, give it some love and
we have live your passion.
Get your head in a mindset of learning from this amazing teacher. Jihan has been my friend for many years. We were actually at Jeffrey Lewis's diamond party so many years ago. She was pregnant with her little Lukey at the time, and Galen sat me next to Jihan and said, "This woman and you are going to be very good friends." And you know what?
I didn't even remember that. But isn't that funny?
We are. So here she is. She's not only an amazing friend of mine, but also my business mentor that just has shifted my business time and time again, and yours as well. This is Tri-Harmony Training System. Many years ago, we tapped into that fantastic program because Jihan just says it like it is, right? And that is what I absolutely love about her. So she recently became a crown diamond. Let's have a woo woo in the house. Amazing woman. So congratulations on that rank. When did you hit that for the first time?
November.
Unbelievable.
Yep, it was quite a month.
She's floating in it
and
right
I had
now.
been so close so many times for like almost a year, I think it was. So we were like right there. And then November just put it over.
Popped.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Tell me about how your vision played into making that happen.
My vision plays into everything in what we do. We always say vision, action, right? Everything is about your mindset and what you see. So every day, all day, and what we train is that you have to first and foremost focus on your vision, and then everything else will fall into place. So the only thing we do is focus on our vision. So a lot of people get caught up in the how-to, and I know that's something you've talked about also, right? Getting caught up in the how-to, and then getting caught up in the how-to actually stifles growth.
Yeah.
And so what happened with you, even with that, right? And you just recently went through a good shift. And all of a sudden she's attracting everybody.
Yeah. I was very stagnant for a long time.
Yeah.
Because I just thought I had to figure out the pieces before I actually did them.
Right. Analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then she got very tapped into her vision, which is what we focus on. Like, okay, what is it that you actually want? It doesn't even have to be related to Young Living. It's just, what is it that you actually want? Like in life, like, what is it that you want? My vision actually has nothing to do with Young Living. But Young Living ends up being a huge piece to the puzzle of attaining my vision. So therefore, everything I need to get to that place includes Young Living. Does that make sense to you? So it's not direct to Young Living, but Young Living grows as a result of it.
And isn't that funny? Because we often put that rank, we put that dollar figure or that rank around something, when in actuality, the importance is to focus on what you want.
Absolutely.
From a life standpoint, and not
maybe that's what it is. I know for some people, the rank has a certain meaning to them. It means like maybe a certain celebrity or prestige or posturing or what, and I don't mean that judgmentally. I mean that if that's the case, if that rank has that like a meaning to you, that could be your vision, but it can't just be like the paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work like that, because there's plenty of other ways to get a paycheck. So it's not going to just be about that paycheck. And it also has to wake you up every day and get you so excited that you just are like, I can't, like for me, I can't wait to get up in the morning. And therefore I'm up practically in the middle of the night for everybody else, but
4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm up real early. So, because I just get so excited. I want to get into my day. I want to do what I have to do. I spend a lot of time working on my mind before I even start my day. How many times did we revisit vision today? Just even in our, we're developing a program right now, a coaching program. And there's a lot of pieces to it, a lot of things to like think about and figure out. And then we keep going, okay, wait, let's go back to what's the vision? What's the vision? all right, now that we're recentered, because it's centering, right? It puts you in a space. So, okay, now that we're recentered, does that meet the vision? We actually abandoned a whole thing we were working on, because when we sat, we felt like there was a little bit of a struggle coming to it, like in the how-to. So we went back to the vision, which is what we always do. We went back to the vision. When we went back to the vision, we realized that was the wrong direction and completely shifted to another direction. But unless you're constantly tapping into what your vision is, you're not know that. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. I need to get out of some other things because I think my internet is slowing us down.
You're freezing a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Let me just clear it up a little bit. Cool. All right, thanks. Yeah, so vision is a huge part of everything. It is everything.
It is everything. Vision first, mindset
Young
first.
living is not everything. The vision is everything.
I've always said
your life fits into that.
Well, Sue, you know this because you know me and you know me as a friend, not just someone in Young Living, that I always said I never want to be defined by Young Living. And I still don't want to be defined by Young Living. I am grateful for Young Living. I don't want that to show up as a lack of gratitude. I am so grateful for Young Living and everything it is, but I'm not just Young Living. I'm Jihan. I'm not Young Living. I'm me, you know? And so then I look at like, what's my personal brand? Who am I in this world? So that when I talk about vision, that's the piece I'm talking about. I focus on me, my own self-image. Who am I to the world? Who do I want to be to the world and strive to be to the world? And that's where my focus remains. But as a result, I do very well in Young Living, and I work on it probably a fraction of the time. Like, how often do we work on Young Living in a day?
We don't.
Almost never.
Yeah.
You know, like,
well, you've done the work. You've done the work.
Yes. Now this is
which is crucial.
I don't want anyone to misunderstand this as don't work in Young Living. So yes, so we have a lot of things in place for sure. When I say we don't focus on it, what happens is because I'm focused on the greater vision, we get clear on when it's time to add more content to our Young Living group. And what happens because of my posture in the world in general, people say, I want what you have. They come to me. So I'm not doing Young Living. I'm doing Young Living every day.
Right. But the universe is manifesting it in a way that supports your vision.
Exactly.
And it is a part of that. So tell me about how you start your day, Jihan. What is your morning routine?
Okay, so I'm up early. I'm up usually around, 4:30, sometimes 5. I've always been an early riser, but to qualify that, I go to bed early also. So I'm up early. I work on my mind first. I do my gratitude stuff. I write down the 10. In fact, you and I were talking about this too. It's actually a new habit that I've added. So I do 10 things that I am grateful for. Some of those things I have right now, and some of those things I don't have right now. So but I make it all like I'm grateful as if I have it. So an example would be my perfectly healed, ankle and foot, right? Because I've been in a cast for 10 days, which now I'm not because I took it off, even though whatever. So, because it's perfectly healed, so I took it off. She said to me, she goes, maybe maybe you should put it back on.
Yeah, she's like, maybe you shouldn't do that. She's like, no, it feels good. I'm like, okay. All right. I'm like, oh.
She looked at it. She's like, maybe you should put the cast on. But anyway, so I get up and I do do all my gratitude stuff. I visualize that, and then you send love to 3 people that bother you. And I think it's more of that like releasing, like don't get focused on that stuff, just kind of release it or whatever. It's a technique that we learned at Proctor Gallagher, which adds a little to me more substance to just a gratitude journal. I liked his way of doing it. So I do that, and then I study. I read. So it depends what book I'm into. For a long time, I was into U Squared by Dr. Price Pritchett. So I would read that every day. Now back into Think and Grow Rich, which are very similar in themes, So I'm back to reading that. There you go. And so I study that. And when I say study, like sometimes I read like a single sentence and then just think that sentence and visualize the sentence and what does that mean, and like I don't do anything after that. It's not like you don't read you study these works. You don't read them like a book, you study them. So
it's true. And I think when people focus on reading every day and that 10 pages a day, even that one sentence might be enough for your reflection and your focus for the day.
Yep. Absolutely. So I stop. If that's what I need, then that's what I stop on, and that's what I do. And then I'm in my Design Your Life journal, you know, the one that we do in Living Fit Club. I've used that for years, and I'm very focused on that and what my vision is. So my day starts every day with my vision. After that, I'm usually getting my kids ready for school, and you know, then I go to the gym, and then I come back and I work on my vision again, just to make sure that I'm really clear going into the day. And then Christina comes in, and then we talk about the vision. And we revisit it like 600 times, you know, in a day.
Anyone feeling a theme going on here?
You know, and when I say that now, I want you to know, out of that comes content.
Yeah.
Right? Because as we're talking about it, she'll say something, and then I'm like, and I'll answer it, or I'll think of something, and then we'll be like, we should put that online. This is a good question that people are going to answer. So even though it's part of the bigger vision that we're working on, when those little pieces come up, we go live. And because that's very much how we do content.
Yes.
We do a lot of content. So we'll go live, whether it's in Living Fit Club, whether it's in my Jihan Thomas brand, whether it's in Tri-Harmony Oilers, whatever it is, our Abundance Group, which are our business builders, wherever we think that it would be most helpful in that moment is we say, okay, let's just go live right now. So you see how the content comes anyway.
Absolutely.
But it comes through that vision. And then we'll say, okay, well, let's make a post about it. So we'll do that also. So then we get like on that for a second. We'll say, okay, let's put this on Instagram, or let's, you know, whatever. How about we wanted to do, we have a webinar series. We came up with this like expert series we do in Living Fit Club, where we have certain people that we interview once a week. And we wanted it to have a little bit, because again, focusing on the vision was to have a more professional brand. So we were looking at platforms to make it a little more professional, meet our needs a little bit better. And we found this platform that we use that took us like a week to.
It was a process.
It was a process. It took us like a week to learn it, and I don't even know if we learned it yet. But,
I know.
But we executed our first webinar well, so we'll say that. But you see how then that came, and once that came up, then another piece of it came up that fulfilled another need, and I was like, oh my gosh, that just flowed. So like you don't know what pieces are going to come. We never focus on the how-to.
Right. So what I'm seeing for you is that you keep an open mind, you allow your vision to guide your day, and allow the universe to provide you whatever needs to fit into your vision. I love that. I absolutely love that.
And I'll tell you something else that we do that you mentioned it the other day, I think, on a call or something. And what happens here, we make decisions fast.
Yeah, you take action fast.
We take action very fast. Yeah. Very fast, and we're slow to change things, you know? So it's a very okay, because what happens is the longer you get a great idea, right? We get great ideas all day. So we get a great idea. If we don't execute immediately, then we think of all the reasons why we can't do something, mm-hmm. or we forget about it, or what if this, or what if that. So it's very much a work in progress.
So you're not an overthinker.
You can't be an overthinker. If we find ourselves thinking too much, like this morning, we were thinking too much about one piece, and then we stopped and we said, let's go back to what the vision is. Let's just get clear on that again, you know, and we went back to the vision. Now, this is a vision we study every day. You know, we study and practice every day. So you would think, well, we shouldn't have to keep going back to this vision that we're very clear on. But when you're in the midst of working pieces, it's very easy to get distracted from what your overall purpose is. Right. And then you get caught up in the minutia instead of the bigger picture. So we have to keep bringing it back to what's the bigger picture. And then we're like, oh, okay, now the decision becomes more clear of what we should be focusing on.
So for people that are struggling with exactly what their vision was, because you and I were talking about this morning, and while I thought I had my clear vision as clear as day, you're like, but there's something else driving that. Talk to us about, give us 3 tips on how someone can clarify their vision. You know, because we do our manifestation journals, you know, and we go by ULA, right? We follow the 7 principles of ULA. So, you know, for me, I've got 7 different dreams, but you talk to me a little bit more about honing in on that. How does someone hone in on exactly what they need to drive their life?
Well, first of all, it should scare the shit out of you.
Hear that, Rosie?
Yeah.
Jihan, Rosie, Christina, Rosie,
Rosie. Yeah. So if it doesn't scare the shit out of you, and if you know how to do it already, like, you know, you could do it, it's not it. It's not it. So like for me, and then we'll go to you and like what your vision is, because your vision has transformed itself also and what you focus on. So like for me, even though I own, you know, a great business in Young Living and I own Living Fit Club and all that, my vision actually is not around either of those two, which would be surprising to people. You know, I mean, I have a certain imagery that I use in my visualization around it when I'm doing my overall picture, but my vision is very much around having over 10 million social media followers. I'm a social media influencer. That's it. That is our entire thing. So because of that, then I think about, well, in order for that to happen, and I don't think so much about the how-to, but I'm breaking down the pieces we've learned of this, right? All I said one day is that I want to have over 10 million social media followers. It was based on a conversation we were having. And before that, if you would have said 25,000, I'd be like, how in the world is somebody get 25,000, right? Meanwhile, we're as of today, at the end of today, we'll have well over that. We're already over 25,000 between all the platforms.
Yeah, between all of them, yeah.
Oh yeah, so we're probably at 30,000 followers. Whereas when we started this, I would have been like, how do you even come up with that much, right? We're like at 30,000 followers right now.
Awesome.
So it was in a conversation we were having, and it actually had to do with delivery of content, and somebody else that she was showing me after I kind of proclaimed this is what I, you know, that I want to be a social media influencer. Now I had a different idea of numbers of what that meant, you know, and then she was showing me somebody and he had 6.5 million or close to 6.5 million followers. So we've like watched a couple of things of his, and, you know, I heard from her what she likes, doesn't like, and a couple other people. And I was like, oh my God, I do so much better. Well, if he has 6.5 million, I'm getting 10. I'll do over 10. That's how it started out. So now it might sound like over 10 million followers. Like I'm not really emotionally attached to over 10 million followers, right? So how do you bring that into your vision? But it started to get more and more exciting as I thought about it and as I visualized and what it can mean. So I just started focusing on that. That's it. That's my whole great grand vision. So going back to what you were saying, and how does it include it? Well, because what am I feeding? What would I do with I'm not a celebrity. So what am I going to do with over 10 million followers, right? So I have to lead them into something. So then what's my passion? Well, I own an online holistic training platform, like a lifestyle platform, right? So we're going to feed people into that, which is what we do. So we feed people into Living Fit Club. But as part of Living Fit Club, you also have to get Young Living products. Right? That's one of the benefits of it. We made this like side, you can't get it from Living Fit Club. So every member of the Living Fit Club, or people who like refer to Living Fit Club, everyone buys the product through those members. So that was one of the things we wanted to keep it like altruistic. Everybody benefits from it. So that means then for me also, I have to be good at storytelling my Young Living experiences, because they can't just go to Living Fit Club and buy from me. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah. So you got better at social media.
I got better at social media and storytelling. It made everything grow. My focus on over 10 million social media followers has made everything grow.
Well, it's funny. This morning I saw a post on a friend's page. I think it was Jeffrey's page, and it was Simon Sinek, right? And it's how it's not what we buy, it's why we buy it that people are attracted to us. Mm-hmm. So you've gotten better at that, correct? That you're not just posting, you know, the promos for the month. You're posting why you use I know, never. I just want you to say it. never. Right? No. Because it's why we use something that attracts us. You know, so if your goal is to attract that many followers so that you can lead them and feed them, then, you know, social media, getting better at social media. Did you follow anyone to do that? Was there someone that you said, wow, I really align with that?
I don't know about aligning. We were following, I follow social media influencers, a couple of influencers. So we were learning from Wolf Millionaire. That's what for Instagram specifically. For Facebook, no. And I'm growing fastest on Facebook, which is funny, but I grow very well through videos. So I do a lot of live videos. I was really scared about doing, believe it or not, and I'm such a talker and you know that, but I'm always, even now, right? I'm like, okay, wait, what were we going to say? Wait. Okay, what? And she's like, just go live. You know?
Because you're good at it. So that's good. So just going live is something that you found people respond to, and that's
very much so.
That's good. But let's go back just a minute, because we were talking about, 3 different ways to really get clarity on your vision.
So it has to scare you. It has to excite you. Like where it's so scary, it seems so big. It's like, how in the world is it ever going to happen? That's like your big goal. Like Bob Proctor would call that your C goal, like that's your big, that seems so out of reach that, like, for me, it's exciting to like figure out something that I'm not good at, which is social media, but now cancel that. I'm great at social media.
Great
I
at
have
social
over 10
media.
million followers.
She really is good at social media, by the way.
So, but you see what I mean? It's like keeping your brain there all the time, because I can tell myself negative things about me, which is probably what a lot of your people, your listener, your team, or whatever, it seems to be very common. We're very clear on the things we suck at and are very hesitant to talk about our strengths or things we're willing to get strong at. Mm-hmm. So I'm in a constant mental correction also.
And I think it's fantastic to be conscious of that, because I think that we may be one of the first generations to really understand that.
Yeah.
What you say, you manifest.
I also know that as a law, you never grow beyond your own self-image. So self-image is really, your results of where you're at is based on your self-image. So in order for me to grow beyond that, I need to work on my own self-image. I can only do that by studying and visualizing and doing the work. That's the only way. Nobody could do that for you. So I know.
Next question: what is the importance of self-development?
Oh my gosh, it's everything. It's all in the same stuff. But it has to be a study. It can't just be like, I'm going to read this thing and move on, right?
Yeah.
There's like that study piece. Yeah, so that's what I would say. I mean, it has to scare you, it has to excite you, get you up in the morning, something that's like, oh my gosh, I'm so passionate about this that even though I don't know how I'm going to do it, I literally have no idea how I'm going to do it, but it doesn't matter because I'm just excited about the thought of it, so I'm going to do it. And then all the other pieces will fall into place. What has been your vision?
Well, by moving that one?
Yeah.
That one? Well, part of it was, of course, to be a social media influencer as well. That's how we kind of got in the conversation of it. And another thing is I'm 23 years old, 2024, and I want to move out. And I live in Long Island, and I'm always like, well, how is this going to happen? This and that. And Jihan was like, well, make your focus more about being a social media influencer, because with that is going to help grow you as a person, grow your brand, grow your young living, make you the income. Whereas opposed if you focus on moving out, you're just going to move out and you're not going to be focused on.
So too many people focus on the condo, focus on the house, and that's their big bad daddy. But you're focusing on more of who you want to be.
Right, your personal brand.
Towards that. That's really funny because, we all teach about what are our goals. Right, Rosie? When we went up to the retreat, we were talking about what they are, physically. But there's so much more to that. And that's what, while the idea, Rosie, can we talk a little bit about your big goal and dream?
My big goal? Can you hear me?
One, that really big one you shared with us.
Oh, the really big one. That's to have my own orphanage.
So that's a C goal. So that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a C goal.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scary.
That's my big goal.
So is that something you think about and dream about every single day? Is that something you just imagine and visualize and see yourself there and feel yourself there and see the kids and feel like is that something you do every day?
I mean, every day on my mind, not necessarily, but there are things like, foster care or, things like that go through my mind every single day. When I see some children, I'm like, I could help them out or things like that. But like orphanage itself is not in my head every day because of everything else that's just going on.
That's what I was just going to say.
That's not it.
Yep. It's not the orphanage. It's not the building.
There's something else. It could be something else within that realm, but that's
what you're doing for those children and how you're helping those children. And then the orphanage fits into place with that. Am I clear on that, Jihan? Is that really?
Yeah, it's not it. What happens is that you get if it was the orphanage, you wouldn't be able to get it out of your head. Like everything that would be surrounding that. So I believe that it's something from what you described, how you're thinking about kids all day long and fostering. So I believe it's probably something within the realm of that is part of your vision, but the orphanage itself May not be it. I don't know. I'm not in your head. But what I do know is that when you're really tied into a vision, and what it might simply be is you creating the habit of being up and constantly thinking about the orphanage. So maybe that is it, but you haven't spent enough time on it. But if you haven't spent enough time on it where it's in your mind every day, then it's hard to know if that's actually it. Because like for me, like the over 10 million social media followers, it's like, okay, well, I have to be with it every day. And does it still fit into the overall realm of what I'm excited about? And it's like, yeah, it is. So like now everything that I do, I still don't know how I'm going to get over 10 million social media followers, but there's been so much that has fallen into place. I mean, I have like what, 8,000 since Thursday, 8,000 since Thursday, social media, more followers.
Amazing.
So, yeah, so like that has been our total focus. Like that's what I think about. So all these, that doesn't just happen. Like all these things come into play then and say, okay, go, because the universe will respond very quickly and say like, okay, take this step, and then you gotta go into immediate action. Take that step, okay, immediate action. And they may seem like unrelated steps, like you don't know why it's happening. I'll give you an example. Like when I did this with my ankle when I was in the cast, like a lot of people would have been like, okay, and this is what they said, right? Well, I guess that means it's time for Jihan to rest. Well, what if it doesn't mean that? You know? What if it doesn't mean that? What if it means something else? So I didn't rest. I didn't take the time to do that. I'm up walking well before they ever thought I was going to be walking off crutches and I'm not supposed to be out of the cast and yada, 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 right? And I'm doing all that stuff. And in that time, we were able to figure out how to gain more social media followers, right? We put up the whole webinar system that we were going to do. We created a whole expert panel for Living Fit Club, and I was able to teach the physiology of injury healing and then promote Young Living products. Or I could have stayed in bed and watched TV for, a week. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, so exactly. So it isn't necessarily that you needed to rest. It was that you needed to
use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I have to tell you, when I had my surgery on my leg, the same thing. My business grew incredibly, and I could have just sat on the couch and watched, Black Sails or whatever TV, binge watch TV. But it's what you do with it. Jihan, I wanna shift you just a little bit, because the vision is so important, but the process and keeping open to all that is so important. But I want to talk to you a little bit about business as well, if that's okay.
Of course.
Because this group is our business group. We call this the 4 pillars. And Young Living is our foundation, and gratitude is our roof. And the pillars that fall within that are personal development, sales, events, and see what happens when I get all cocky and don't. Events, sponsoring, enrolling, sales, and personal development. This is our 4 pillars group, right? So within that, there is a lot of business that we have to do. And I did have a couple of business questions that I wanted to ask you, because I absolutely love your insight, and you've shared with me about how you work with people. So tell me one thing. What are the qualities that you look for in manifesting a dream team to support your vision?
Oh, I love that. 5%ers, right? 5%ers. So I don't work with everybody, and I won't. It's exhausting, first of all. Takes up a lot of my time, and I used to, I don't anymore. I would spend a lot of time with people that really weren't committed to their own vision. So how can I be committed to it? Now we work with what we call only 5%ers, which doesn't have to do with income, but income does follow the mindset. So they tend to do better much more quickly as a result. We work with people, no complaining. They must be willing to work on their vision and work on themselves, work on their posture. They have to be willing to study the work. What are the qualities that we using with them? What would you say is a 5%er? Complaining is a big one.
Complaining is a big one. And actually, and doing the work.
Yeah. Taking action.
Taking action.
We teach vision, action, making sure that you do that. We don't allow a lot of extraneous storytelling, because again, you give people enough time, they will talk themselves out of something. So we don't We don't have a lot of extraneous story. Everyone's got a story. Everybody's got something. Okay, let's make that a constant. Everybody's got obstacles. Everyone's got kids. Everyone's got this, everything, whatever. We all got that. Okay, great. So then what makes me successful when I've never worked Young Living full time and always had another job? I also have 3 kids. You've seen me through at least 1 pregnancy. I've had 2 pregnancies through Young Living. So why would someone like me get to Crown Diamond and other people are trying to figure out how to maintain Star? We all got the same time in a day. I'll tell you one thing I never do is complain. I'm just, it's such a waste of time. I just won't do it, nor do I entertain complainers at all. In fact, if there was going to be a pet peeve, that would be it. So I can't.
I think everybody can agree with that positive mindset has to follow this business.
It has to.
And that's who we want to work with, so we should be that person as well, right?
Absolutely. Why would anyone want to do business with you if all you're doing is complaining? Because, by the way, everything you do becomes part of your brand. You're a brand whether you know it or not. So everything you do becomes part of that brand. So I am constantly thinking about how I am out in the world. So I'll give you a great example. My sister was out to dinner and a movie, whatever, with some friends of her. It was actually one of her friends and then that woman's friends, right? We all went to high school together. So I know who she's talking about in this group, right? So she was telling me the story today about how they went to the movies. They couldn't get the reclining seats or whatever. I guess those have to be reserved. So they were only left with, the regular seats at the movie theater. She was there with 3 other women. So they go there and there are 4 of the women, whatever it was. So they go sit in their regular seats and a couple of these other women noticed that those reclining seats were open.
Oh, boy.
So my sister said, well, that's because those are reserved. So it doesn't matter when those people come. Maybe they'll come 10 minutes late. Maybe they come a half hour. It doesn't matter when they come. They are reserved
they paid for them. Yeah.
Right. They paid for them. They're reserved for those people. So they're like, well, I'm just going to go there. And Nattie's like, well, have a great time. They're like, you're not going to come with us? She's like, no, because that's ridiculous. So I'm sitting here. Now, my sister and her friends, they're all like 44, 45, They're sitting there like, she was like, I can't even believe I'm surrounded by these people. Well, sure enough, they went and sat there. She stayed back, They went and sat there, got kicked out 10 minutes later and came back. My sister's viewpoint is like, aren't you embarrassed with yourselves? Like, how do you carry yourself in this world? Well, these are the same people that also had stories about divorce and who got shot and who's a drug dealer and who's this. And my sister was like, I can't even believe that these are people that
I spend a lot of my day thinking about who lifts me up and who I feel better being around. So that's the kind of person that I try to be myself. All right, a couple more questions.
The point is, you got to think about that stuff. You have to see who you are in the world. Are you the person that's going to go sit in that seat, or are you the person that's going to posture yourself to say, I don't have to be a classless loser, and I could just stay where I'm supposed to be?
Say it like it is. Okay. What are the most important things that we should keep in mind when we're working with our mentors and uplines? You said no complaining. What are some other qualities that we should remember to keep in mind when we are in that growth mode, in that mentoring mode? What is it that
Be coachable.
Coachable.
Being coachable is one thing, because sometimes you're going to hear, oftentimes I say things people I know they don't want to hear, or they want that like magic pill, or they want their whatever, or they don't want to really do the work. They kind of want the shortcut. Listen, if there was a shortcut, I'm going to tell you. But if there's not, there's not, so be coachable. I would say to have an understanding that any time that you get from your upline is a blessing, because none of it's required. So if somebody's taking time away to be available for you, then use that time wisely. Do you want to use that whole time complaining or talking about whatever? Or do you want to get real focused on something that could lift you up and potentially make you millions in the end? So I think that you should get real, be coachable, be able to listen, be able to hear the hard stuff. That's one of the things we have in our group right now. We have a couple of mentorship groups that we're running, and they were told right in the beginning, this could be tough on them because it's not going to be one of those coddling, whatever. It's going to be like, when we see something, you're going to hear it. Because if you really want to my coaches are so tough on me, and I love it. They just call me out, and I love it. It's allowed me to really grow. Yeah. So why wouldn't I be that coach to somebody else?
Yep.
I love it. Yeah. So be able to receive that and know that it comes from a place of care. It comes from a place of, you know, and of course, trust whoever your upline is, you know, or your mentors or whatever. You have to have established that trust already. Once you establish that trust, you should know whatever they're saying really is in your best interests, you know? I'm trying to reverse the role. Like,
Yeah.
as the receiver, you know, as the receiver, I have to take in mind that as long as I trust the people, I know what they're saying is in my best interest. So I have to take that in and consider it. You see what I'm saying?
Yep, I do. That's good. Okay. Where do you like to look for new prospects? Like, what's your favorite place?
I literally never look for new prospects. I attract all of them.
I know that. Woo! Woo!
I can't even remember the last time
Yeah.
I looked for anybody, and I've enrolled a lot of people just even in the last few months. Like, I look for nobody and I attract all of them. It's all based on my vision. They come to me. That's part of my vision.
You're being open to see them as well, correct?
Right. Well, part of it, my vision, you know, my posture says a lot for itself, right? And then I one of the things I say, the statements that's like in my book is say I attract business superstars with ease. You know, my bank accounts are robust and constantly being filled and replenished. Making money is fun and easy. You know, these are all things that I'm always saying to myself. So when opportunity shows up, I also make people go into quick decisions. Because if they're not in quick decision, I have a very difficult time with that. I make very quick decisions, very slow to change. So if I say, I want to do business with you, we could work together. You have like now to say yes or no. You know? And if not, I'm thrilled if they want to use product and everything, I'm totally fine with that. But if they're going to get my time and attention, which competes with my family, it competes with my personal time, it competes with all this other, if you're going to do it, you better be in that 5%. And here's the thing, a 5%er will make a quick decision. Number one, a 5%er does not complain, and they are largely independent. So it's very little guidance, and they're able to go right into action. And that's refreshing to work with. And that's why I focus so much on the 5%er. So I just imagine 5%ers coming into my life.
So you attract.
And the 5%ers want what I have. Why wouldn't they? I want what they have. We're all good. We speak the same language, you know?
Yeah, that's key. And that's key in knowing, you know, and I'm sure you align with a color type of mindset, you know, Big Al, whether it's Jacob.
Red,
Obama,
I always say I'm recovering yellow.
Recovering yellow. I love it. I love it. Okay, one more question.
Okay.
I know that you turned people on today. I know that you incentivized them and inspired them and gave them clarity. And I know for a fact that you're not here to sell Living Fit Club. However, people who align with how you are educating. Living Fit Club, I found out today, is so much more than living fit. It's about living fit emotionally, living fit financially. And all of this guidance is within anyone's grasp. They don't have to be a part of your Young Living team. You make this available to anybody who's in the Living Fit Club. So give us just a quick synopsis on that and what we can do to tap into that.
Oh, well, that's easy. Okay, so Living Fit Club, which is my baby, my passion, right? It's what I've done for over 20 years for myself, and I just took my stuff and put it online. So it's an online holistic lifestyle training platform. So we do have challenges. We do have stuff that focuses on nutrition and exercise and all that, but our whole intention is not about just, okay, lose weight or get fit, which is super important too, right? To feel good. But we do it because if you feel good about yourself, you feel good in the world, you know, and we want there to be such a focus on that piece of it. We incorporate Young Living products in everything we do, or almost everything we do, but we also have a wealth hub in there. We want, you know, if you're going to be truly holistic, you have to look at all these areas of your life. So you have a wealth hub in there. We have a travel suite in there where everyone comes in, gets 500 wellness dollars just by coming in, and it gives you the ability to travel for less, because as you and I were talking, Sue, this morning, it's like traveling really, it's a wealth principle. You know, even if you do like a small little trip, you plan your life from vacation to vacation because it gives you that hustle in the meantime, building up to the next reward. Okay. So and that's stuff that people could do right now. They don't have to wait till they're silver or gold or whatever. You know, you just do it right now. So we have that in there. What else did we put? Oh, the Millennial Mentorship is in there. Yeah. That was our news program. The Millennial Mentorship, we have, that's in there. It's a full training program. Experts in events. We just put up last week. Experts in events. So every week we have an expert. Like last week was John Barker, who taught about living benefits. Who was it?
Financial advisor.
Oh, right, financial advisor. And then everyone gets a financial advisor that comes with our program. You get to use him. We also have an accountant. We haven't built her into the system yet, but there's an accountant that comes. My coach from Procter Gallagher is there, and he does training
Wow.
mindset also.
So this becomes more than just for what we can learn for ourselves personally. This can become a platform for us to be able to help our teams grow, because
most people use it. We did a poll today. We couldn't believe what people were using it for. We should have put that in there too for team building. But yeah, you can have, you can even have teams. Like, we don't sell product on Living Fit Club. It's just the platform.
Right.
So people come in if they want to have teams, if they want to do this, if they want to use it for training. We have people that came in just because of the millennial mentorship, because that's where it is. So they come in there with 40-something videos, and it walks you through the fundamentals of wealth, personal branding. I forgot the other chapters, whatever, a whole bunch of stuff in there.
It's all about bringing balance to any area that we're seeking.
Any area that you're seeking, giving you the tools to do it, the wisdom to do it. And we have a Design Your Life journal in there. We're building out, one of the things we're building out now is our coaching program. So we're going to have an LFC coaching program that's going to be the more we talk it out, the more substantial it gets. But it's exciting. It's going to compete with we already compete with big names in this industry. We're already competing and being able to put Young Living, put Living Fit Club, put all that on the map, because it's so much more encompassing than any program that's out there. And it's so affordable. You go to livingfit.club right now, it's $15. It'll probably go up at some point. Right now it's $15, $14.97 a month. And it's full access from day one. It's full access. So yeah, you come in, like I said, we have people that come in just for the millennial mentorship. So for $15,
and it's not like you have to commit to a year. You could go in for a month, try it, see if you like it.
Yeah.
And that's cool. Jihan?
But if you're smart, you're going to bring other people into it, right? You bring it because then it trains your team.
Right.
It does the work.
Sounds like a plan. You know what, Jihan? I was a part of Living Fit Club before it rolled out, and I was into it for the whole, mindset and nutrition. And I'm so excited for you, because this is so much more, and this is what you're all about. You have always been an amazing coach to me, and you're always so generous to our team to just share your knowledge and support us. And it's so exciting that this is coming back around in your success all over and in your vision. So I don't want to keep you anymore. You have been amazingly generous to us. Rosie, I hope this was helpful for you, and to anybody else who's going to be watching this later. We are recording it. I actually see the record button in the upper left-hand corner, which means that this girl learned something. So, Christina, really nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you.
I hope we get to meet in person someday.
Yeah.
And last words of wisdom?
Just do it. Be afraid and do it anyway.
I like it. Thank you, Jihan. Love you.
Love you too.
All right. We'll talk to you soon, I hope. And thanks for everything. Bye, Rosie. Thanks for being here. Okay, so how do I stop the video?
Stop the recording on the lower right. It'll say record. Stop it, because it's going to cut off in just a sec anyway. So.
Okay, cool. All right. Cool. Thanks.
Yep. And then you do leave meeting or end meeting. It'll say on your end.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.